that? He knows that is a very difficult question to blow your trumpet yourself. Most of the times we allow MCs and moderators to read your citations. Sometimes I feel humble when somebody is citing or reading my profile. So I'm still can't do it here, but I'm going to relate it to one of my theories that says it's not about what you achieved. It's not about the position you hold or you held. It's not about the money you have. It's about what you become in the process of achieving those things. So whatever I achieved, whatever position I held, it doesn't matter. What matters is what have I become in the process of achieving those things. So instead of narrating who I am, who I was, or what I am, I would rather tell you what I have become. So what I have become, a lot of you guys, like the MC introduced me as the CYC president. A lot of you guys also know me as a professor in the university, and so many things I've achieved. But it's not about those names, not those positions, but about what I have become. What I have become is somebody who is resilient, somebody who is tenacious, somebody who is determined, somebody who set goals and pursue the goals, somebody who knows how to delay gratification, somebody who knows the value of reading and learning, and somebody who appreciates the skills of problem solving. You see a problem and see how you can solve it. So that's more beautiful, more important to me than telling you I was this, I was that. But what have these things transformed me to become? And when he introduced me as the Commonwealth Youth Council president, which is one of the largest youth-led organizations in the world, and I was the first person to be elected, I led over 1.2 billion young people across 50 countries around the world, which is one of the most transformative experiences in my life. Building from the election, when I was contesting alongside over 40 people, we were later trimmed down to 4 of us. We went to Sri Lanka where we had the election, and I was running against a very top rival candidate from Britain, from the UK, a lady. We went to the election. Most countries were not supporting me. I was the least expected candidate to emerge as the leader of Commonwealth Youth. And I was never, I have never thought I will win that election too. I just went in there giving my best. But something happened during the election. Just before the election, I invited my friend called Idris. I said, Idris, let's go to, because I was living in the UK then, let's go to the mosque after Isha prayer. And I want to practice my speech. So Idris and me will go to the mosque, practice my speech, my opening speech during the debate that I was supposed to present during the election. We practice that speech over and over again. So in a day, I can repeat that speech for almost 10 times. So I repeated that speech for more than 50 times. And when we went to the election, we were called to speak, to introduce ourselves. And then I spoke from my heart. I didn't read from paper. I didn't read anything. And all candidates were reading a script. And most countries, they were amazed by how I was able to speak good things from my head. So they were able to connect with me and trust me in a way that I can speak it from my heart. And when we came for the panel debate, I was asked so many questions because I became the target, because she was the preferred candidate, the British girl. And they were asking me questions that would put me down. And I was using those questions to also upgrade myself, to show what I can. And one of the things I remember I mentioned in that debate was that I made comparison with her. I said, if I have to be elected as a leader of the Commonwealth Youth, I know the problems of the young people. I know their plight. Not just I read it, I have seen it firsthand. I have experienced it, which the British girl did not. So she cannot lead what she does not know. And I used that to also get an upper hand. There were some countries when I approached them initially, they didn't want to listen to me. But after that debate, they came to me and said, congratulations, we'll vote for you. So you see, that experience has changed me so much to learn the importance of preparation. So I became somebody who is well prepared before anything. Even this panel, I prepared for it. So anything you want to do, you have to prepare. So one thing that you're going to learn, just don't remember I won the election. Just remember that when you want to do something, prepare for it. When I went to become the president later on, sitting down with the president and prime ministers of these countries, leading my team, leading the vast group, some group of people will come to me and say, we have to promote the gay rights, we have to promote the lesbians' right and all LGBTQ rights, and it's against my ethics. And how do I now approach them? I have to become a lobbyist. I have to become diplomatic. I have to become somebody who is confident. I'll be given the microphone to speak to the thousands of crowds, and president will be seated there. I have to become somebody who is confident. So whenever I grab the microphone, I remind myself that you are leading 1.2 billion young people. If you can't speak, these people cannot speak. And one last thing that I think I'm much proud of from what Yusuf introduced me as, the CUIC, I'm using that as a reference because he brought it up, was when I returned back to Nigeria. Because I traveled across the world, I have seen countries how they developed, and amazing towns, towers, people. And I was impressed, and I admired their progress, and I admired the personal development of the young people I met and I worked with. But those things didn't impress me to stay there, but they motivated me to come back to Nigeria. Despite the opportunities I had to work at the Commonwealth, to work at the United Nations, but I preferred to come back to Nigeria. And when I came back, I chose to continue to be a lecturer in the university, because what I discovered that for Nigeria to develop, we had to develop the minds. We had to develop the people. Our development is not counted. It's not measured based on the length of our towers or beauty of our roads, but the mighty of our minds. So if we invest in the minds of the young people, they will become the people that will build the country. So I started investing in that. Unfortunately, I started with the university. I don't want to mention everyone, a lot of people know what I mean. With the university environment, I started with my students. I created a debate club to enhance communication skills of young people. I know what helped me so much was my communication skills, to speak to Europeans, to speak to the world, and people appreciate and understand me and even trust me. So if young people have to get opportunities, they have to build their communication skills. And I see young people talking to me in my office. I don't like it because that's not what I see out there. And when I returned, I saw so many things not right. So many things I couldn't see was wrong before, but now when I return, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. And I wrote to the university, I said, I can also help the teachers to also improve their leadership and communication skills. Do you know what happened? They turned it down. They said, no, who are you? You cannot teach us what we don't know. So I was discouraged, and I started teaching young people outside the university. And I was traveling to cities, to towns. I went to Kano, I went to Kaduna. I did leadership training here in Katsina, training young people, transferring all the skills I learned. Instead of you inviting me to an event, taking pictures with me like a celebrity, you're happy you met me. No, let's come together for 3 weeks. Let's do something tangible that will change your life. Instead of just inspiring you, let's change you. So that's what I did. I traveled to Kano. But there was a time when I went to Kano, I didn't have money to lodge in a hotel. I slept in my car. Mosquitoes came. It was hot inside. You know, it was a very difficult journey for me, but I kept doing it because I had a purpose. And one of the things that you also learn here is that if you have a purpose, don't just worry about the inconveniences in the process. And I went to Abuja. Bilkisu came all the way from London. She was part of us 2017 when we did that. And then I got exhausted. And I started doing videos online, posting things, and suddenly one of the professors was invited to train for NNPC staff. And she was old, and she recommended me to go and represent her in that training. So I trained the NNPC staff, and they loved it. And they said I should train them again. And after that, they said I should train them again. And after that, they said I should train them again. I have trained NNPC staff for more than 30 times from that single opportunity. So one of the lessons you learn here is that one opportunity is what opens door for another. So the opportunity you have now is the key to the next opportunity. So all of us, you have an existing opportunity now that you can leverage to unlock the next opportunity. Sometimes opportunities might be next to you, you don't know it. You might not see it. So you have to have the eyes to see the opportunity before you can utilize it. And one of the easiest ways to see opportunity is in problems, is in obstacles. In every obstacle, in every problem, there is an opportunity. So you have to first begin by harnessing the internal opportunity you have, which is your mindset. A lot of young people want to get the external opportunity, but they are not working on themselves. So first work on your mindset, what you think is possible, harness that internal opportunity, then you attract the external opportunity. So I'm sure I'm taking longer because I have a story to share with you, but maybe in the second round. But the highlight of what I just said is that whoever you see has achieved success, don't ask him about the narration of his journey. Ask him about the lessons of his story. What is the lessons of your life? Because these are the juice. These are the benefit. What have you done? You become this, you have become that, you achieve that, you have so amount of money. What have you become in the process? What lessons you have learned? If I become a university professor, ask me, what have I become in the process of becoming a professor? If you meet a governor, ask him, what have you become to become a governor? You have to do certain things. You have to become certain things. And if you are a governor now, what are you becoming now in the process of you leading your state? So for all other positions too. So any person you see on this panel, you ask them this question. What have you become? What lessons have you learned? Thank you. All right. I got that question, but I'm inspired by what Jida said when she was narrating her impact. And I thought, okay. You know how well she's scared of lecturers too. She knows that I'm going to talk longer. She has to warn me that we don't have time. Okay. All right, quickly. I promise you I will be very fast with that. But what she said about impact, and I admit what Jida is doing quite a lot, affecting people, the minds. I remember when some people will call me and say, my name is this and that. You've changed my life. I've attended your workshop. I've attended your training. And I've watched your lectures on the YouTube. I've watched your, all these spaces we have. This kind of feeling is more rewarding, more fulfilling than any amount of money that anyone could give you. I remember when someone called me from Lagos, he mentioned his name and he said, he's this person, he attended my Kano training. And he said from that time, his life has changed. I met a young man in Kano last time we met. He said he read my books. He said from the time he read the first series of my leadership books, he said he stopped contesting elections. Before reading my book, he was the kind of person in university that will contest all positions. Any position available for him, he will contest it. He contested class rep, he contested senates, any kind of position, NACAS, faculty, department, SUG. But the moment he read my book, series 1, he stopped contesting any position. He realized that, he's already a leader. He doesn't need to contest an election or to be in power to impact change. So there's so much story on that. I'm afraid of Hawa now. She will soon grab my microphone. But let me go straight to her question about continuous learning. You see, one of my coaches said, when he was having his mental brain issues, he got a brain damage. And he was struggling to revive himself. So he started reading books about brains. And he said he learned a lot of things. And he was sharing it with other people too. Like what I'm doing. Some of you are following me. I have a super brain class where I teach people how to unlock their super brains. And he was also doing something like this. And one day he came across a lady who was reading one book in a day. One book in a day. 30 books in a month. And he asked her, how did you do it? It's not like, how did you do it? Why are you doing it? So continuous learning begins with a reason. If you don't have a reason, you keep singing that I want to be a continuous learner, I want to read books, I want to learn continuously, but you will never be a learner if you don't have a reason. And he followed this woman, and he discovered that she has an ailing mother. Her mother was diagnosed with a cancer. And she started reading medical books to read about how to cure somebody who has cancer. So she was motivated because her mother was given only 60 days to live. And she needed to find the cure for the cancer of her mother. And she was reading all these books, one book in a day, one book in a day. She read 30 books in a month. And that's the power of motivation. If you can climb the third floor of this building and ask you to fall down, to jump down, you will not. But if a lion starts chasing you, you'll jump. You wouldn't even know when you start jumping. So when you are not doing anything, it's because you don't have a reason. So the first thing I want you to do in the quest for continuous learning is to identify why. Why? Look at our worldly man. She's one of the people I so much admire. She's one of the most finest, beautiful, and very productive, progressive young lady in the North. And look at what she's doing. She acquired that through knowledge, through sharing, and through action. Because what she learned, she shares, and she also practices. And that's how she attracts opportunities to herself. You see, like I always say in my previous speech last year, I said, it's not about the absence of opportunity, but what you do with it. We all have 24 hours, but some people use their 24 hours more than the others. So equal opportunity, but different results. But what are you doing with your opportunities? That's the question. And that's what she was able to do to make herself different. Now, wherever she goes, and all the members here, everyone you see here, they are irresistible. And they are irreplaceable. Wherever they go. Because of what? Knowledge, commitment, dedication. Wherever you find yourself, make sure that that organization, that place cannot do without you. Even if you do something very bad, the company cannot sack you. Because if the company sack you, they will lose quite a lot. So opportunity does not come to people with degree. They come with people with knowledge. So how do you get the knowledge? It's through continuous learning. It's through continuous reading. And one of the most critical skills, like I always say, two of them are reading and learning. When you read, you know how to read. You know how to learn. Reading, you get knowledge. Learning, you also get knowledge and skills. You transform and you become a magnet that will attract opportunity, and that way you help yourself grow through the development phases, which is discovering yourself, developing yourself, and utilizing yourself. But on top of learning, I can see your hand. On top of learning, please, I want to share this very important. I discovered it very recently. That's what I call people skills, or what commonly known as social skills. Your ability to mingle with people, to associate with people is very important. Sometimes opportunities come through your associations, through your friendship. But if you don't know how to mingle, how to relate with people, you don't have emotional intelligence, you don't have communication skills, you cannot have those opportunities. If you walk into a room, ask yourself how these people are feeling in their minds right now. You are the last person that walked into the room. How are they feeling right now? So it's not about your degree. It's not about anything you achieve. It's about your ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And like last one, and like just yesterday, a young person came to my house a day before yesterday. He said he wants to work in one of my organizations. And he started telling me about his degree. And I said, no, stop there. Don't go there, because I'm not looking for a degree. I said, calm down, right? Calm down. I don't want your degree yet. I said, what we want people with skills to deliver results. We don't care about your degree. And then I said, I'll look into it. Yesterday, he came to my house. I gave him a handcraft job. And he came to my house and asked him to do it. And guess what? He forgot one of his tools, because you need to use a flyer to do the handcraft job. But I say, you see, I just tested you and you failed. You are coming all the way from your house to do this job, but you forgot the most important tool. What does that tell me about you? It means that you don't have a strategic thinking. Before you leave your house, you have to think of where am I going? What am I going to do? What do I need? So what we need in our organization, we need people who have strategic thinking, which you are not able to exhibit. We are not looking for people with degree. So 3 things are critical here to take away. Continuous learning, which is getting through reading. You know, some of you have a class on reading skills. So we can organize for reading class for us, because continuous learning starts from reading. Because if knowledge is power, then learning is a superpower. How do you learn? A lot of people will grab a book and spend 10 minutes reading the first page. It's boring. They will just give up immediately. Looking at the next 500 pages, they will be demotivated. But I taught some of you here about in 2018, you are one of them, right? About reading skills. How do you read one book in a week? And some of you have read more than 53 books in a year. Myself, wherever I go, I carry my book. Continuous learning. All these people you see, they are all learning. So if you see people achieving great things, follow them. If you say you want to be a successful person, I will follow you to your house. If I follow you to your house, the first thing I will check is your shelf where you put your books. And I will bring those books and I will see what kind of books are you reading. What kind of stuff are you putting inside your brain? Because your brain is like a factory. If you put cement inside this factory, what do you produce? Blocks. You cannot expect a bread because the ingredient you put there is a cement. So what are you reading? Is that question. So let's meet the second round, like third round.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. My question is, what is the best IT skills we have in the world?
The best IT skills? Prof, you want to take that?
Of course.
But it's an always evolving field. You cannot say this is the best and this is not the best, but definitely Prof will have something.
Well, I think the most important is identifying problem. Because IT is a solution.
Gotcha.
Information, technology skills are there to fix a problem. But you have to see the problem first. If you can't see the problem, then what solution do you want to bring up with? There are so many young people with skills, with these abilities, but they don't know what to do with it. Like in one of my entrepreneurship classes, a young lady in my university, she raised her hand, she asked me, she said, in my lecture I said, solve problem. And she said to me that anytime she looks around, all the problems around her, somebody is solving the problem. And she could not see any problem to solve again. And I said, that's the problem. Because you can't see the problem, that's the problem. And you become the problem. So your ability to see, to identify the problem is the most important. In the world of creativity and innovation, creativity is the king. Creativity is to identify the solution. Innovation is to put it into practice, to make it happen, to make it real. But all these things happen when you have the eye to identify, to see the problem. So in IT, the king, the father, the mother of all is seeing the problem.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof.